Hey, everybody. It's another beautiful day in the Bay Area. I am Justin Massengill, joined by my buddy Andy Yen and our very first guest, Nic McConnell. This is Shared Bytes. It's a podcast about sharing experiences within and without of gaming. This is our big end-of-year holiday extravaganza. I'm so excited we finally made it. We've got such a big show for you, including our very first guest. I mentioned him a moment ago. He is the king of indie games on Blue Sky. He has a really cool Twitch stream where he reads instruction manuals. His name is Nic McConnell, and I'm very excited to have him on the show. Nic, welcome.
Justin, thank you so much for having me. It's so good to see you. I'm going to be honest, completely thrown off by that intro. I will take it. That is the ultimate compliment. Now pressure is on, but thanks so much for having me. It's super good to be here.
Cool. Very glad that you're able to make the time. And Andy, of course, my co-host and the guy with all the real taste behind this show. How are you doing, man? What you been up to?
I'm good. It's been a eventful week. It's kind of like the post-Thanksgiving to Christmas rush just feels like it's smaller and smaller every year. It just gets quicker and quicker. So many things happening.
So real quick, before we get straight into our kind of what we've been up to and all that, I wanted to give Nic a quick moment to just introduce himself and talk a little bit about what he does, just so folks kind of have an idea of why the hell we brought him on the show. Because I know he's awesome, but I want to give him a minute to explain himself.
All right, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to answer the why I got invited onto the show. I'm just sort of hoping for the best on my front. No, my name is Nic, and I guess how do I do this? This is maybe the hardest thing of all. I am, as Justin mentioned, on Blue Sky, and the thing I do there, I guess, is how I'll frame this, is a show called Instruction Derby, which is a weekly stream on Twitch where I take a look at video game manuals uh, from the various generations of video game manuals and read through them because there's so much interesting, weird stuff in there, and it's a fun way to spend an hour. So that's
It's
what
a
I
forgotten
do.
art form.
The manuals, yeah. Oh, there's some of them are just we can talk. Some of them
Yeah.
are just incredible, and you can tell when they're having fun with them, and that's my favorite thing. So I do that, and I love it. And when I'm not doing that, and I have some free time, I'm playing probably an indie game or two or three or four, as the case may be right now, on my Steam Deck. And then in my day job, I work at Riot Games. I'm not here on behalf of Riot Games. That is the disclaimer of the day. Not here on behalf of my employer, but my opinions are my own. But I work there on the age ratings team. Riot has a dedicated global age ratings team where we make sure that our stuff is compliant around the world for content, and it's a lot of fun. So that's what I
A
do then.
thankless
Otherwise, I guess
job.
what? Thankless.
Right.
It's you know what it's thankless in a lot of ways, but man, is it fun. It's weird to say that. It's so fun. It probably doesn't sound like a lot of fun, but I think it's so much fun.
Interesting.
I want to hear more about it.
Yeah, I want
But
to hear more. I was
yeah,
gonna say just real fast, like what's like what makes it so fun? Like, is it because there's only a few games, right? Like, or do those change a lot? Like, I don't write,
Yeah, no. So it's a great question. I got this a lot, and I didn't know the answer before I started. So I've been there for about 3 years now, and before I started, I had thought of age ratings as sort of the submission process, right? Let's go get that ESRB or that PEGI rating or the GRAC
send
rating.
them a build, wait for the results to come in, and
Yes.
bada bing, bada boom, right?
I would argue that that's the least fun part of the whole thing, and
Sounds
also
like it.
significant work, right? The fun part about it is that, especially where I'm at, it's live service stuff, and so we're getting new stuff in all the time, and the people are coming up with new bits of creative, right? New splash art, new trailers, new skins, new characters, new levels, all of those things. And we get a chance to take a look at all that stuff early and think about how that stuff might impact our players in different cultures around the world. So, in a lot of ways, because our focus is global, right? We're not just thinking about the ESRB or not just thinking about PEGI. We have to think about how's this going to land in, say, Indonesia? How is this going to land in Japan, right? We think about those things, and we get to work with folks at Riot around the world to convene around some of these concepts to make sure that what we're putting out there is something that's one, compliant with the age rating that we have, which is probably the less fun part of it, and then two, making sure that what we're putting out there is relevant and not potentially damaging. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. I get to work with people all over Riot and all sorts of different backgrounds and studies and all that, and I get to learn from them every single day, and so that's a ton of fun.
Very cool. Yeah. And now that you mention that, yeah, it makes sense that, different cultures around the world have different, sensitivities or preferences for certain, whether it's costumes or characters or whatever. And so, yeah, it's not really a one size fits all. So, yeah, it makes sense for, someone to be there to work with all the teams to make sure everyone is able to enjoy like your games and all the cool content that comes with it. So, very cool. Yeah. Well, I can't wait to delve into that deeper later on the show.
Yeah,
But,
exciting.
yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to kind of kick things off with Andy. It's been a couple weeks since we caught up. I wanted to hear what you've been up to lately. I think there's been a lot going on. Tell me kind of what's top
Yeah.
of mind for you these days.
Yeah. So yeah, and I hear in Shared Bites we like to share experiences both inside and out of the gaming world, and I have one of each this time. I think just post holidays. So the gaming experience I want to share is that I've been playing Destiny 2 Renegades. Have you
Oh,
guys?
nice.
This is and Nick. I don't know if you played much Destiny 2 or do you like
I am
aware?
familiar. I'm familiar with Destiny. I know that they are. I have not. I will say this: I have not played Destiny 2 since probably launch.
Since launch. Okay,
That's fair.
that's like 10 years. No, 8 years.
I'll,
Wow,
I'll, I'll,
2014.
let me
Uh,
put it this way. I haven't played since the end of the final shape, which was maybe a couple years ago now.
it was last year, I think 24.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
So I haven't played in over a year, and that may as well be not having played since launch in the world of this. If I tried to get back into the game, I think I would be on probably equal footing as you right now.
Which yeah, oh, now and
The
to be
game
fair
moves
though,
fast.
now is actually like a great time to jump back on. Not to like put that out there, but they
Oh,
do
is
have
it?
a lot of catch up mechanics. So when you log in immediately, they'll give you like the stuff to catch up.
That's good.
But
Don't
I want to talk
tempt me.
about there's a new expansion that came out this week actually. I think it's called Renegades, and it's the
Mhm.
Star Wars expansion.
The Star Wars one. I remember.
It's
I heard
the
about
Star
this.
Wars expansion, and
So is it literally like Star Wars IP,
Yes,
like Star Wars
there's-
characters and
Yep.
stuff?
Well, there's not. So the way they're doing it is actually pretty interesting. They're not like just lifting characters straight up from the Star Wars universe and plopping them in the Destiny universe. They're like a Fortnite or like some other stuff that just licenses for the direct lifting of the characters. They actually find a way to integrate all the Star Wars like mythos and lore into the Destiny universe.
Huh.
So like for example, like the Cabal are like kind of there's a Cabal faction that's based like the Imperium. And so
Hmm.
he's got like there's like Cabal troopers and like stormtrooper outfits, or like and there's I think there's like a different sect within the Warlocks that's called the Praxic Order, and it's kind of like the Jedi.
Right.
So these like there's like a Praxic blade in the game now, which is basically a lightsaber.
Wow.
And
of course they do the
and they got
Praxic
like
thing for that. I was wondering how
yeah.
they would lure the lightsaber in there. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's pretty like I mean they put some effort in to kind of figure out how to best kind of integrate. So it's not just a copy and paste kind of thing. So it's and yeah, they got all the cool sound effects in it, right? You got the pew pews that you get from like the blasters and the vehicles, and then there's like the fallen brigs. They kind of retrofitted them to look like the walkers on Hoth from Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, and yeah, the campaign is actually really good. I highly recommend you guys give it a shot. It's like it's pretty like short. It's like 6 to 7 hours, like pretty fast. But
Does
it's got really
the
good
narrative
cutscenes.
reflect the Star Wars integration as well, or is that stuff
Yes.
purely cosmetic?
Yeah. There's some like plot elements or like character interactions that are like, oh, that's remind you of so and so, right? It's like there's a scene where you're on like a cantina in like a desert planet that's like Mars, Destiny, but it's kind of like supposed to evoke Tatooine, right? Or
Sure,
like the
yeah.
Mos Eisley canteen. So it's actually been really good, and like they have the new post game world is the Lawless Frontier, they call it, and it's kind of interesting. Like they have it's like a faction war, so it's kind of like a little Helldivery, and like there's like 3 different factions, and there's like a rotating like contested territory every day, and there's so it's kind of you can pick your faction, you can have different words based off of that, but the other flavor that throw in there too is there's an invasion. So it's like if you ever played Gambit, from the original Destiny 2, where it's like the PvE PvP mode. So Nick, I don't know if you remember this, but this is like where you have it's like 4-on-4, but each team is like competing to do their own PvE objectives, right? So
Right.
they're trying to
Yep.
kill whatever. And then certain times in the match, people can invade each other's like arenas. And so in that sense, it's PvP, where it's like you can mess up other people's like missions.
That's cool.
And they brought that into this mode where as you're doing like your missions on the Lawless Frontier, like these contracts they call them, there's like a mode where you invade someone else's like kind of mission, and your goal is to try to take out and disrupt them as much as possible, and their goal is try to like just do their thing. And so it's kind of an interesting way to go about it, because it's very limited. So it's like I think you have like 4 lives when you're the invader, so like that's you got your 4 chances to kind of get your loot and then get out. So it doesn't disrupt the mission too much for the people. It's like, it's a good like 5 minutes in the beginning. So but yeah, it's a fun time. I recommend it. It's good kind of really good cutscenes, really good kind of high quality like storytelling. I mean, it's kind of more than I expected given the way Destiny 2 has been going the last year.
So does this feel kind of like a detour from the story after last year? Because last year they had to figure out what the hell to do. They were starting a whole new saga after Final Shape.
Yeah, I mean,
so
they're
now
actually...
is this kind of continuing that overarching story, or is this kind of like, okay, we're doing the Star Wars thing before we get back to kind of the real Destiny
No,
story?
they're actually connecting the Star Wars thing to the main narrative now. The main narrative now is kind of like based off of the Nine, so it's like this mysterious kind of order that's like they're like beyond gods. They kind of like they manipulate people and planets.
They represent like the planets themselves, right?
Yeah, they represent the planets. So like there's mythical kind of beings, and like they're like the big crux of their narrative now, and they are integrating the Nine in with the Star Wars thing very closely. Like the Nine are, it's almost like if they're like the Sith, like they're like kind of these shadowy like manipulators behind the scenes. So they're really doing like a pretty good job of integrating this, where it doesn't feel like it's just like bolted on, and the Star Wars stuff, it's just cool to look at, and it's like not like intrusive. So
I'm gonna have to continue to live vicariously through your Destiny adventures because I cannot in good conscience give myself back to that game. But I did my time, but I'll continue to listen to your reports back from the Lawless Frontier.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, fair enough. I will say, I'm spending the least amount of time I've ever spent on the game, but still getting a little enjoyment every day. So yeah, that's what I'm playing. And then on the non-gaming front, I wanted to share because I actually went to a rave last Friday. A solo, not lone spot. I don't want that sound too sad. I went solo consciously and sober. So I don't know if are you guys familiar with the DJ Fred Again?
I've heard of him.
You've heard of him. Okay. He's cool. He's British. He's kind of like gotten really popular over the last few years. He's actually he's in a musical family. His like mentor is Brian Eno. If you've heard of Brian Eno, like the master kind of master of ambient sounds. He's like, I think Brian Eno was like their family friend, and he like tutored him piano like when he was growing up, and so they've remained like kind of friends, and he's kind of worked with them on that. But over the last few years, he's become like a pretty like popular DJ kind of. So this year he has a new album coming out, but he's only doing 10 shows, 10 weeks in 10 cities. So there's only 10. So he was only doing 10 dates this whole year, basically. And only 3 of those were actually in North America. And one of them was San Francisco. So like we're all in the Bay Area. So I was, I was like, I didn't get tickets at the on sale. And I was like, last minute, I was like, oh, it's like it's a little FOMO, a little just kind of like, I want to make, this sounds like a really special thing. I'm going to do it. F it. So last minute, I just got to take it for myself because all my friends weren't able to go I kind of overpaid to be able to go. So the kind of a high price to get in the door.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the point in my life where I'm kind of like valuing experiences more than other things. And especially something that's like kind of really unique. It's like, okay, F it. Why not? Like, but yeah, I went there alone and did a 6.5 hour rave by myself, and it was
awesome, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever done that before. Yes and no. I mean, I was in the mood where I didn't really want to talk to people, but like I could like, but it was really interesting to like kind of be around people, I guess, if that makes sense. Just like kind of go feed off the vibes and just have it be all the music. And like I got there, I got some water, I got a seat, so like I don't want to go to the floor where there's like going to be just sweaty people, which I was sweating anyway because it's dancing for 6 hours, but it was really cool. Like the girl next to me was like, she was just like dancing really loudly, like in terms of like just big motions, but also very aware of my space, so she wouldn't like like hit me or like whatever. But she was like really into it the whole time, and the people behind us were really cool. They were just kind of like into it. But I will say the most annoying part was the tech bros, and we're in the Bay Area, San Francisco. There's a lot of tech bros, and with someone who's really
wearing
popular,
an Apple Vision Pro.
Oh, no, please.
They were not, but there were people talking about AI during the show. Like,
okay,
just bro, like they're like, really, bruh. But they're like, instead of enjoying the music, they're like, they're drunk. Obviously, they're drunk. They got their drinks, and they're just like putting their hands over each other. Yeah, bro, like, and they're talking about just like their AI deals and whatnot. And I'm like, face palm, like just you're killing my vibe. It's just like, so it's kind of like a
Hey
duality
man,
of like,
don't harsh their vibe. They're just enjoying their time talking about their AI bullshit, man.
Talking about their seed rounds,
and like, oh my gosh. Well, the worst part was that I was in the seat, right, and like the tech bros got to the show late because obviously they're entitled. Oh, they can get to their show late, and instead of like finding their own space, they would crowd the aisles, which is a fire hazard, right? But when the security came to shoo them away, they would just like come into my chair and it'll come into my space and just like to escape the security and like that. And it was like, to Justin's point of not harshing their vibe, I didn't want to harsh their vibe by like, kicking them out, but I was right on the edge of like either just telling them like, hey, get GTFO. But so it was like kind of, as I wanted to be, you're right on the line between like, I want to have a good time, I want people around us to have a good time, but at a certain point, I'm not going to like sacrifice my like my enjoyment for this sake. So fortunately,
like
they
the
did
person
leave
on their phone in the movie theater. Somebody's got to do something,
I've had to do that too. Just like there's a point where you just got to do something. It's like because like at that point you're like your brain is like distracted by the thing that's happening versus the enjoyment that you're having from the thing you're there for, and like. Over the years, I've kind of just like being aware of that kind of mental terrorism where it's, you're really, by distracting my brain, you're causing me to not enjoy this. And that's not good. So fortunately they left after after a few, like, I don't know how long, but it wasn't, for a little bit. So that was good. Although there's another phase of this. There was a couple phases of this. 6 hours. So there's a lot of phases of this, but eventually, yeah, no, it was still a good time though. I got 23,000 steps in on my thing. I was just like,
that's good,
vibing by myself. I highly recommend it. I don't know if you guys are into music. I think that's the first thing. I don't know, Nick, are you like a music guy? Do you listen like
I am.
Shows?
I am. I'm not. I've never been to a rave. I'll put it that way. But if you're telling me I can get some steps in, that's a compelling argument. I have not been to a rave. I've always sort of been interested and intrigued. I think I've always been, in my heart, a little too old. Like I feel like I would get tired really fast. But yeah, music. I mean, this is the most basic thing. Music is good. I like music.
Music is good. Electronic music. Like, are you an electronic like kind of beats?
Not
and
really.
Okay.
And not for any reason. Like not for any good reason. I wouldn't say that I dislike it. I think it's more of a question of, have I been introduced to anything that have I really been introduced to anything, and not directly. So
now
that I'm open to, this is my challenge to you, the gauntlet. Please introduce me to some good stuff, and I will happily listen to it.
That's what this show's all about.
All right. I'll send you some Fred against stuff. The
yes,
artist,
please.
like, send you some after to see if you're into it.
That sounds cool.
But yeah, no. To be like to your point, I'm like I feel like I'm too old to go to raves. I probably wouldn't. Calling it a rave is probably overselling it a little bit. But there are people there to do drugs and kind of go let loose and whatnot. Yeah. I mean, there's some loud music there, but I'm talking from a middle-aged person experience where it's like when they're by myself, sober, drinking water, I have a seat. Like these are all the things that are that sound good to as we get older, to all the comforts that we like. But I still had a great time, and I still danced just the whole time just because of I just was feeling the music. So I think like music in general, maybe that helps there, but it's actually a really cool experience. And then I think the other thing I want to say is when I was younger, I'd be very self-conscious about doing this. I would not do this by myself, right? Like even going to a movie by yourself, or think of things like you are kind of socially conditioned to not do by yourself. It's like, oh, you're a loser, or that guy must be a loser if he's going to this by himself. But as you get older, you're kind of more comfortable in your own skin and kind of I think around you, and you're like, dude, this actually is awesome to be by yourself, because you get to kind of have your own space to meditate, or kind of just take it all in. And honestly, if you're at a show with somebody, you're not really talking to them. I mean, unless you're a bro, unless you're a tech bro, interrupting other people's good times. You're not really having a full conversation, right? So it's actually, there's a good time to be had by yourself. So
yeah, the movie thing. Go ahead, Nick.
No, I was going to say, I completely agree with the solo going to things thing. I think, yeah, maybe it's been getting older. I feel like I remember even back in high school, I would go to the movies by myself sometimes. Because it was I was the only one who wanted to go see I Know What You Did Last Summer, and it happened to be Tuesday night, right? It's just me. So maybe that conditioned me, but especially, yes, as I've gotten older, going and doing stuff alone, traveling alone, with a pair of headphones in. Totally. Seeing a movie by yourself is amazing, and just sitting there and then having your thoughts about it after the movie. I like going to eat alone too, and these are not.
Yeah.
None of this precludes, before anybody gets worried, none of this precludes like doing those things with people too, because that's
Of
also great.
course. Yeah.
But there is something about when I go traveling for work. I travel for down to LA to the office every other month or so. It's just a few nights, and I love those nights because it's just me going out to like a restaurant by
Yeah.
myself,
Mhm.
and I just sit there and I eat my food and I kind of zone out, and it's
Yeah.
like amazing. It's
Yeah.
great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And I'm sure, especially with you guys, both of you, it sounds like both of you have families, so you have a lot of responsibilities that you get to kind of have your own, like, space, right?
Oh yeah,
That must be
that is nice too.
Yeah, you mentioned
Sorry,
going
Justin.
to movies alone, and that resonated with me because that's something that I have found a lot of enjoyment in the past couple of years specifically.
Yeah.
My wife signed us up for whatever the Cinemark monthly whatever, where we get a couple free tickets every month.
Nice,
so
nice.
every once in a while we'll get an email saying like, hey, you have a free ticket. Like, oh, yeah, I guess I could just go watch a movie, like what's playing right now, and just go go sit in a dark room for a couple hours and watch like I went and I saw, that's how I saw Friendship, the new Tim Robinson
the Tim Robinson
movie.
Yeah.
I just kind of went and I had the whole theater to myself, so it was kind of
it's a very Tim
the
Robinson experience,
perfect
bro. Yeah.
kind of I think that's actually, I don't know if that's the perfect or the like wrong way to see that movie. If it's like, I don't know if I want to be alone or if I want to experience that discomfort with a bunch of other people. Anyway, yeah, it's nice to go do things by your lonesome once in a while and just have a good time. There shouldn't be so much stigma around it.
Thank you both for validating.
We're with you.
But
I got your back.
Yeah, absolutely. Justin, what have you been up to?
Yeah, I've been up to getting ready for holiday road trip that's coming up soon, so I'll be out of town for a couple weeks with the family. We're going to be going back to see the family, so the family's going to see the family. So on that note, I've been stocking up my my new toy, my Ein Thor.
Ooh, Ein Thor.
Have you seen this, Nick?
What is that? I don't know.
I want one. Okay, I'm probably gonna have some questions because I have been finger on the mouse trigger looking for one of these for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like,
so
do I need
I've
one?
got emulation station running up here. It's not
Oh my
focusing,
God.
but- and then I'm
Nice.
streaming my Fortnite idle like AFK thing, getting a bunch of Battle Pass XP down there. So
Oh
that's
my
streaming
God.
from my PlayStation. That is running local. It's not, I don't know why it's not focusing, but yeah, I'm not going to show like actual gameplay of like IPs and stuff, but yeah, I've got a ton of stuff on there. It's great. It's something so you would think that this is, just purely a DS or 3DS emulation machine. Like that's what, and sure, like on paper, that's what it's made for. That's what it's, marketed as. But it's a great, like, multitasking machine where I will have a YouTube video playing up here while I'm playing like a Game Boy Color game down here, because this is almost the perfect aspect ratio for a Game Boy Color game. So play like a Pokemon Puzzle League down here, or like Tetris DX, or one of the original Pokemon RPGs down here, or something while I'm watching YouTube, or flip flop it, play Game Boy Advance games widescreen up here, PSP games, whatever. Or this has a 120 hertz screen, so this can do, and this is getting super nerdy, but if anyone out there knows what black frame insertion is and how that emulates the way CRT displays work, it's getting super deep and like in the weeds. I'm not going to get into it now, but this can do that, and it's awesome. It basically emulates the way that a CRT refreshes versus LCDs and makes it feel more like playing on a CRT. So
that's very cool.
This can do all kinds of crazy. So I'm loading this up, and it's going to get me through the road trip. Because
so for our listeners who don't have video, because we have an audio podcast as well, can you describe the this device, Justin? This is called the
AYN Thor, or the Ein Thor.
Ein Thor, like Ayn Rand, but
basically, yeah. I'm not sure if you say AYN or it's all lowercase when you read it. So anyway, it's basically it looks like a DS, like a 3DS, basically. Specifically like a new 3DS XL. I think it looks the most similar to.
Yeah,
but it's clamshell handheld device with the L1 and L2 buttons up top. It's got dual sticks, offset configuration, so like Xbox style. Left stick is up top, right stick is on the bottom. It's got colored face buttons like Super Famicom style. The whole I've got the gray colorway with the rainbow buttons. It's got a nice clicky D-pad. Feels great to play on. Ergonomics are a little for longer sessions, just by nature of like how many things they're cramming onto the face of this thing. But it's not bad enough that it's like really uncomfortable. So I think that the utility that this thing provides offsets kind of momentary discomfort if I'm trying to do like longer. And I'm not really playing this thing for long sessions anyway. It's more like I'll do a little bit while I'm doing something else, or I'll put a YouTube up. I actually love to put this thing in like laptop mode and just put a YouTube video up while I'm in the kitchen making food or whatever, because I have a big old iPad that I sometimes will keep in there, but that takes up a lot of space. This is easier to just put on the counter and be doing stuff. And yeah, it's great. This thing's really cool, and it came with this cool like braided wristband.
Oh, that's cool.
Did
you mention whether or not the screens are touch screen or not? They are, right?
They are.
Or
They both are.
They
Oh,
both
cool.
are. Okay.
The top, they're both OLED.
Man,
the top one is
Jesus.
120 hertz. Bottom one is 60 hertz. They're both touch screen.
How much is this? Oh, what's its
they range from the very entry model, I think is 250, ranging all the way up to like 400 something for the top of the line one. And they vary in capacity and the amount of included RAM. Yeah, depending on the, I would recommend not getting the very basic one. Go at least to the bump up from that. But yeah, it's awesome. I've been waiting for a good dual screen handheld. When I saw the teasers of this, I was like, ooh, okay, I'm going to keep an eye on this. If the reviews are good, maybe that's my Christmas present to myself. Reviews came in and they're all glowing, universally beloved by the retro handheld community. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And yeah, I like Nick, if you're on the fence, like
I'm not on the fence anymore. I think I've fallen over the fence completely into the
let me know if you need help. I can we can trade notes on setup, and I can if you're looking for certain things, I can help you find them and stuff. Yeah.
It's funny. I was introducing the kids to some DS games, and specifically Kirby Canvas Curse. I don't know if you ever played Kirby Canvas Curse, but that's an all-timer for me. And I was showing it to the kids. Oh yeah.
Sorry.
No,
you said Kirby Canvas Curse. Let me interject real quick and say, for a game like that relies really heavily on precise touch input, on like directly controlling something with a touch screen, I would maybe not rely on this. The original hardware is still going to be better because there's a little bit of latency, just not a lot, just enough to be noticeable in those situations where it's supposed to be a thing where you're directly controlling something with a stylus, where it'll lag just a little bit behind.
Just a tiny bit. Okay.
So, yeah, it's great for most things, but I wouldn't play Rhythm Heaven on it. I wouldn't.
Like Elite Beat Agent's probably not.
Give it a shot, but you'll have to compensate for a little bit of latency there. So yeah, I think original hardware in some situations is still going to be best. So I'm sorry to interject, but
you're good.
I realized like, oh wait, I need to talk about the latency.
That's tremendously helpful for me selfishly. I'm also the reason we're playing Kirby, we're doing all this stuff. In my original DS Lite, the hinge is cracking. And so now it's sort of floppy and all that. And so I was like, well, is this a good excuse to go get either another one of those? Because I love having an excuse to get another piece of hardware. Or should I just go into this phase? And maybe the answer is somehow figure out both. Maybe that's the real answer.
I will also say that this hobby moves so fast that if you wait like 3 months, I'm sure that one of these companies is going to announce something that is better than the Iron Thor, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh man, I wish I had waited for that one." But that's just the nature of this hobby. Like it moves fast.
It does. Can I ask one more question? Is it easy to use? Because I have a Mister.
No.
Upstairs. No, it's not. Like putting stuff on it's not just
no. Hold on. You said if you have a Mister, you know what a Mister is. I'm going to revise my answer to yes. It's easy to use.
I have no idea what a Mister is, so no.
So a Mister is like, I guess, like at a high level, it's like a device
FPGA emulation.
FPGA emulation, exactly. So I'm
so
not
do you know
exactly
what FPGA is, Andy? It's basically kind of it's what Analog hangs their hat on, is that they're super accurate emulation. It's FPGA field programmable gate array. Do I get bonus points if I got that right? That was off the top, so no claims. Don't quote me on that. I think that was it. But anyway, it basically means they're more accurately emulating the hardware itself. It's something hardware accurate. Emulation versus software emulation. It's more accurate.
Cool.
It's
hardware. Okay.
It's more like playing on the original system.
Okay.
So Mister is basically like this ultra like hub that you can install all the cores in, and you can just, I mean, Nick, you have one. Maybe you can explain it better than I can.
Well, that's the thing. And actually, that's kind of why I asked, because I'm not really sure what I'm doing with it. I've managed to load some ROMs from some websites, and I've got some of them on there, and all the games that I own, and I've been loading them on there, and they look amazing, from Game Boy games, Lynx games, Saturn games, all sorts of things. Basically everything, I think, up to the PlayStation 2 era, like Dreamcast, PlayStation. That's when it starts to not happen anymore, I think.
Yeah,
but
basically
everything through the N64, PlayStation, Saturn era, you can play what appears to be pretty much perfect emulation. And it's really, really, really neat. You can use all sorts of controllers. You can plug in peripherals. So if you want to play Poppin' Music on PlayStation, you have a Poppin' Music controller, which I do back there. I can just take that thing. There's a little like dongle.
It's just
plug
USB,
it right in and do it. Yeah. It's like a USB thing that then you can connect. It's a snack adapter, I think is what they call it.
Yeah.
There's like an adapter for it, but it's sick. It's very cool. The reason I asked if it's hard though is that setting it up, getting it connected to the internet, getting things onto it, making sure that they're working is a little tricky, and I'm not particularly technical.
It's the kind of thing where if you've set up RetroArch on a device before. You know like what this hobby is, you know what you're getting into. It's like that. There have been a lot of tools released that simplify a lot of aspects of it. So I would say it's a lot easier now than it was even a year ago. There are lots of really invaluable resources out there. I'll shout out Retro Game Core on YouTube and Joey's Retro Handhelds on YouTube. They both publish lots of great reviews, news updates as these things get announced and released, and guides for how to set them up, and like the right shaders, right overlays to use to emulate the original hardware, stuff like that. So if you're interested in these things, those are two great resources to look into. Retro Game Core, Joey's Retro Handhelds, they're both great. But yeah, the Iron Thor, I love it. I've got a few other retro handhelds. I've been in this hobby for a few years now, but this is by far this is like the Cadillac, cool. Man. This is going to be it. I'm not going to buy another one for a while.
4 months.
Because this is 4 months. Yeah, exactly.
3-4 weeks maybe.
That's the meme. It's like, oh, this is Endgame, and then 2 weeks later, it's like, oh man, that one looks pretty nice though. But yeah, I've been playing around with that a lot. Started the new Pokemon Legends ZA DLC, Pokemon Legends ZA Mega Dimension DLC. Yeah. So that's out now, and my son and I just started that. Super excited to catch more Pokemon because we fell deep into that game. Playing that. Started Metroid Prime 4, which is a delight so far. Maybe like 10 hours in, maybe probably not even that, but it's great so far. And on the Pokemon note, I want to talk a little bit about Pokemon Go, Andy, but I'll save that for the end because you and I played a lot of Pokemon Go recently, and that'll be a fun thing. But I want to shout out Sectori, which Nick is nodding to because I've seen he's playing this too, and holy moly, what a freaking game! God, it's a new game that is kind of making the rounds. It's kind of If you're listening through the grapevine, you'll hear a little Sectori like right now on Blue Sky amongst like indie circles, and like people who spot the cool indie games are talking about this one right now. It's a
new game.
So
new game.
If you want to get in on the ground floor of the game that people are going to be talking about soon,
all right,
check out Sectori.
What platforms?
It's on lots of
Should
platforms, I think.
Yep.
It's on
What's your preferred
Switch,
platform?
PlayStation, PC.
Okay.
I'm playing it on...
Oh, see, it's on Steam. I just opened it
What
on
am I
Steam.
playing? I think I got it
Okay.
on PlayStation 5 and I'm playing it on there. But
Okay.
it's basically
Techno music.
the spiritual heir to Geometry Wars.
Geometry. Oh yes, I love Geometry Wars
dude.
back in the 360 days.
It's a neon infused, action packed, top down twin stick shooter, high score chasing, quarter munching, arcade action. It feels good, man. It reminds me of when Housemarque was making arcade games. You know?
Oh, top down arcade games, yeah.
Yeah. So
That was good stuff.
I super recommend Sectori. Nick, do you want to talk a little bit more about it? I think you said you beat the game on experience mode.
I just did. So experience mode is the quote unquote. Thank you. It was like a run that I was like, I had other stuff to do. And I was like, I was close to the end. I was like, I am stopping everything else I'm doing because if I put this Steam Deck down, it plays great on the Steam Deck, by the way. Perfect Steam Deck game. I'm never going to beat this game. So I managed to just get like a dispensation from all of my family members to just let me play another 20 minutes and see if I could make it happen. I did it. That was the easy mode. And then I tried scooting up to the next level and I'm dead within 30 seconds. It's very difficult. It is, you said, Justin, feels good, man, I think was the phrase. It feels so good, man. It is a game that is all about this moment to moment feedback, and it's the music and it's the colors and it's the lights and it's
that risk reward Gradius power up system.
Oh God, it's perfect.
What's your optimal route for power ups for a successful run at this stage?
At this stage, so if you haven't played it, you can collect these kind of orbs that float around, these blue orbs that float around. After you shoot enemies, little yellow orbs drop from them. You collect a bunch of those. These blue orbs come up, and those are your power up orbs. Those are your sort of power up things. It's sort of like Vampire Survivors. You know, you kill a guy and you pick up their thing, and then you get power up stuff. It's like that, and you can choose to either spend them early on, like spend them right away once you've gotten the blue orb, or wait for something else down the road. So I think I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this, but essentially, like say you get one orb, you can spend that on a speed boost for your ship. If you
classic like Gradius style, spend
like,
one to upgrade your speed.
Exactly. And then like you get like 5 and you can upgrade your missiles or your regular bullets, that sort of stuff.
The meme that I keep meaning to make is the lizard meme saying lizard, but saying when I'm playing Sectori, it's just missile. Like that's the first one I always go for.
Missiles are a godsend. In that run that I did beat the game, I actually wound up putting a bunch into my shield because I kept getting hit. And then I would just shield back up, and that was enough to get me through to the end. And I was not expecting that. I started playing defensively, which was weird.
Yeah, straight up just giving yourself more health is a strategy.
Turns out if I could do that in real life, I would do that too. Probably that'd be my strategy here too. It is. If you haven't played it, it is a game that I want to say it's like $10 or $15. It's not anything crazy.
That's 15. Yep,
15.
It's worth whatever they're asking for.
All right,
it is, and it's a Housemarque dev. It was a guy who.
Oh, it is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, who worked at Housemarque. Yeah. I don't remember.
Kimno Latinen?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
Cool.
That's what's on the stream page. So just
that sounds right. They're active on Blue Sky, actually. So if you have questions, I've seen some people say, "I'm never going to get good at this," and then you'll see him pop in and kind of give little bits of encouragement.
Oh, that's great.
It's a game that I not to derail and just make this Sectori time, but I was expecting to play it for a little bit on a work trip on the airplane, the 45-minute Southwest flight down to Los Angeles. And I wound up doing essentially nothing else with my free time for like 3 weeks. It just,
wow,
endless Sectori. It's so good. It's so good.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like it's not on Switch. I was just gonna get it on Switch because I got some Costco credit from Nintendo. But yeah, it's PC, PS5, and Xbox right now. But Steam Deck probably sounds like a good place to play it, or PS Portal. Maybe.
I'm playing on my PS5, and yeah, it's great. But yeah, I'm sure Steam Deck would be awesome for it too. So yeah, pick your poison. Really, great
Can't
game.
Go wrong.
Tastes great. Let's see. The other thing was, real quick, I want to give a shout out to the podcast that got me into podcasts 20 years ago, Orange Lounge Radio started in 2003 and just celebrated their final episode about a week and a half ago. So shouts out to them. 23 years, I think. I believe it was a 23-year run. They were there right when podcasts started up, and they were the first one I ever subscribed to, and I listened to them this whole time, and it was the same hosts the whole time. So man, they just had a killer run. Great video game news show, really fun, great charismatic hosts. So shouts out to them, wishing them the best, and thanking them for 2 decades of awesome gaming news and entertainment.
Oh, that's great.
Beyond that, I wanted to thank Andy for helping me get 2 shiny Lugias in Pokemon Go in the city a couple weekends ago. We went up to a community day thing. They had a bunch of cool raids happening and a bunch of picky pecks, a bunch of birds to catch. So we did a bunch of raids, caught some shiny Lugias. It was good times. What was the best Pokemon you caught that day, Andy?
I don't know, probably wish I got 1 shiny Lugia as well. So this is the Dynamax Lugia. For you guys who played Pokemon, it's the one that kind of gets super big and does a different attack. But yeah, good times. It's fun to play in person.
I kept one in Go, and I put one into Pokemon Home. It took my entire energy bar in Pokemon Go to transfer that shiny Lugia into Pokemon Home. But then I put that in Pokemon Violet, and it's just so cool. I have a shiny Lugia in Pokemon Violet now. It's awesome. I love that. That's a thing I can do.
That's great. Nick, do you play Pokemon at all? Pokemon Go, like, is this
no,
gibberish to you, or?
It's not gibberish. I know it for sure. I was never a huge. Okay, my mea culpa is going to be that from the time I played a lot of video games, I never got into turn-based RPGs, sort of broadly. So when Pokemon came out and the show was blowing up and the cards were huge, it was just not my kind of game. So I never got into it. But I always appreciated the characters and the designs and all that sort of stuff. So I tracked it and I followed it. I love to play as a Pokemon trainer in Super Smash Brothers.
I followed it. I hunted it and I killed it.
I followed it. I hunted it. I captured it. Yeah, it's a little alarming, like thinking about what's actually going on with those Pokeballs and all that. But I did work at Niantic for a year.
Okay.
And I did brand partnerships for Pokemon Go. So actually, that was when you were talking about Pokemon Go. I was like, I played that a bunch at the Ferry Building where the office was.
Yeah, that's where we played. You played around there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man, that was looking back. That was a return to office mandate that I was not happy about at the time, but could have been worse, I guess, than 2 days at the Ferry Building.
It's beautiful office, yeah, and beautiful location, everything, yeah,
pretty nice. I was like taking the ferry. I'm like, I'm so mad about doing this. But my question for you is, when you were there, so Niantic sold their games division to Scopely.
Scopely, yeah.
Right.
Was it all Scopely branded? I would have a hard time. I feel like I would need to lie down if I looked at Pokemon Go and it said Scopely on it.
I don't think I've seen Scopely branding in a single
place. And we know
place.
the office. I don't know if the office is in Blaze and Scope. I don't think it is. But
the game itself doesn't look any different,
okay.
aside from them changing the character models a while back, which didn't go over well with the community. But I don't think that was Scopely's fault.
Yeah, I don't think
the most noticeable thing you'll see, there's way more monetization, right? There's more things to buy, more ways to spend money, more. There's a web store where you can bypass the app store fee for them, and you can do all that. So I think
that's a popular thing right now.
I think Scopely sounds like they're more focused on the behind the scenes money vacuuming versus the the outside branding for now. At least we'll see. But
okay, that's fun. That's fun. Going in person is great. Do you remember when that game launched and everybody was? I remember I was working in Soma in San Francisco when the game launched.
Everyone was out. Yeah.
Oh my God, I saw so many near car accidents, just like people walking into the street. It was crazy.
I saw somebody saying that was like the last great hurrah for humanity before
it was. Everyone's like in the park. Everyone's Pokemon going to the polls.
Oh man, simpler times.
That was That was really high. Yeah.
But I want to give Nick. I want to give you a minute to talk about what you've been up to as well.
Oh gosh, I feel like I'm just jumping in and derailing both the Sectoria and the Pokemon Go conversation.
Well, I mean, we got to a lot of the good stuff first.
Man, what have I been up to? You know what? It has been just so busy. Work has been, because this is the most boring answer. Work has been absolutely crazy. By this time of year, right as of recording, it's December. Usually it starts to wind down. My work in age ratings though, and my kind of remit specifically is around our global strategy, and partnerships, like what we do with age ratings agencies around the world and how we sort of tie it all together. It's just been crazy because Indonesia is launching a new age ratings agency. Mexico has just passed, or they're working on passing, like a sin tax for violent video games. Brazil has loot box legislation that's being fast tracked,
Oh, wow.
and Apple just made a big change in Korea that's been causing me nightmares for a couple of days at least. So that's what I've been doing, is mostly
I'm sure
just
anytime Apple like says or does anything related to video games, everyone's just like, wait,
it,
what's going on?
it is. I will say this: it is. Maybe I should be careful. It is alarming just how just how much Apple will tell people to jump, and everybody from governments on down will say how high when it comes to one of these things. So it is a crazy space. So to that end, I have not gotten to do a whole lot of amazing adventures. The good news is I work from home, and I have been spending just a ton of time with the kids. And
Great,
part of that,
Oh,
great.
which is great, part of that is because there's been a strike at school, so the kids have actually been home. Um,
Interesting.
but it's one of those things where it's kind of nice because they're 8 or they're 9 and 7. I know in a
okay.
couple of years they're not going to want to hang out at home with me if there's another strike.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
Do
I'm
they know
just
what's happening? Do they know
yeah,
why
yeah.
they're at home? Are you explaining like why it's
They know about the
happening?
strike and okay.
Yeah, yeah. We talk a lot. It's like it's sort of funny to like think about it. We talk a lot about
Telling them
labor
we're
act.
not we don't raise no scabs in this family.
Yeah, we don't know scabs. We're not crossing that picket line. We're not crossing the picket. My wife's in a union
Nice.
too, and so it's like, yeah, we're not crossing the line. We do talk a lot about labor activity and collective action. It's sort of like,
Wow. Okay.
well, maybe like stereotypical Berkeley family, right?
Sure.
But so so they know, and I had to work through it. But my wife took them over to the picket line on the first day, and they brought the teachers, cookies and all
Oh,
that kind of
cool.
stuff. And that's been really nice to see. Now that they're 9 and 7, you can start having these conversations where they start really getting stuff, right?
Yeah.
When they're a lot younger, you can say stuff, and it's like maybe some of it'll kind of trickle in and be there and kind of form a bedrock of knowledge for later. But they really do, as far as I can tell, get it by and large, and they ask really smart questions. And so that's kind of what I've been doing, is just
Huh.
hanging out. Popping up there. We've had some extra help too, but popping up and helping them with some homework stuff in the meantime, and
Playing
that's been,
Sectori.
yeah. And then exactly, and then I'm like, well, I got to go do some work, and then it's just Sectori on my Steam Deck. But I wish
Oh.
that'd be good.
Well, it sounds like you're playing some Sectori at least, right? That's like
Yeah.
kind of the one thing. So
I have been able to get some time to play some video games. So then maybe that is the other thing that I've been doing, right? Is I've been playing some Sectori. Usually I'm a one game at a time kind of person.
yeah,
Because
same,
yeah,
same.
okay. Because yeah, I tend to find that like if I stop, I'm not going back. Not
Yeah.
because of anything bad, but it's what happens. So this has been a stretch where I've broken out of that kind of on purpose, because I don't
Oh,
know if you've been paying attention, but December by itself, November too, has been just ridiculous from an indie
just
game standpoint.
nonstop.
It's nonstop. It's like every day or two. Like so Sectori came out. I wound up getting into that. Demon School came out right around that time too. Skate Story came out
Oh yeah, that's
just
just
this
recently.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Unbeatable just came out, and then Terminator 2D just came out, and Toroa just came, and it's just all of these things keep happening. So I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to leave all these games on the backlog. I've got to play them. So I've been playing a bunch of those. The big hit, surprisingly, in this house has been Skate Story. Not surprising for me because
Oh,
it's dope. If you haven't played Skate Story, it's very cool.
I played it in a demo last year at Tribeca, actually in New York. I played the
Oh,
Tribeca
cool.
Oh,
Games
nice.
Festival. It was very interesting. Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. But
It's
yeah,
Seems like something I'd be into. I got to check it out.
it is not what I expected it to be, and I had high hopes, but it's not what I expected to be, but in the best way possible. It is
mm,
a very different vibe than I expected. It is extremely easy to sink into. So if you've had
interesting.
a tough long day at work or a few evening calls and you've got 30 minutes at like 10 o'clock at night, you could play Skate Story and just
Vibes game.
like vibe
Wow.
out. It's so good. It's so
Is there a
well
narrative?
forward.
Is there actually a narrative, or is it
Hmm.
more okay? There's a narrative, and
Hmm.
does it play
Something about
like?
eating the moon.
Eating the moon. Yes,
Oh,
I believe it is you are a, there's no spoilers here. You are a demon who's made out of glass, and also skateboards. And you
Of course.
are on a mission to, I think you have a deal with the devil, and you have to destroy 6 moons or 7 moons or something like that by
Hmm.
eating them to get out of your contract with the devil, I think is what I've been gleaming. So
As you
there
do.
is a story.
One of those
It
things where
is
like, yeah,
yeah.
sure, there's a story, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's less about the story and the way that the story is told though in the game. Because what I will say is the
Gotcha.
writing that's in there is really good. And the characters are funny without being too kind of like in the know, if that makes sense, right?
Okay,
There's an
sure.
ironic
Mhm.
detachment, but it's not fully detached, and it's an interesting balance that
Okay.
I so far is succeeding really well.
Very
So
cool.
I
Yeah, I
love
saw it's
that.
going to be on PS Plus this month. So
It
if you
is.
haven't purchased it again, that's if
Interesting.
you have a subscription, that's included there. So
Don't mind if I
give it a
is.
do.
shot.
It is. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. We did a few weeks ago, and I'll just say one more thing. We did a little
Yeah.
local Bay Area plug. We did go up to Santa Rosa to a place
Mm.
called Safari West. This is maybe for the families in the audience.
Oh, what is?
But
Yeah.
so Safari West is it's not a zoo, but it's like a gigantic wilderness habitat
Oh,
that where I believe that they rescue animals, I mean it's like giraffes and zebras and rhinos and all this stuff. And they've got this gigantic, however many hundreds of acres, thousands of acres space in Santa Rosa, like
Huh.
just out of town. And you can take a tour on a little Jeep thing and see the animals. And they've been doing it now for, I want to say 30 years or something like that. So
wow.
Hmm.
it's extraordinarily cool. They are, I think, committed to preservation. So
Very cool.
it's not like a weird, gross, like what are we doing here kind of thing.
Yeah.
It seems good. And you can stay the night. And so
Oh,
my family, I
Oh,
had to come
sweet.
back because I had worked the next morning, but they like stayed the night in a kind of a glampy tent. But it was very cool. So yeah, Santa Rosa. Who knew? There's a billion really cool exotic animals up there. So
Oh,
wow.
cool.
yeah,
What's the place called again?
Safari West.
Safari West.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's a great adventure, Nick. Like, yeah, who says you haven't done anything cool? That's a
Yeah,
great
I guess I
adventure.
do
I had
get.
no
Yeah, I
idea.
guess I did.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Well,
It's really
Glad to
neat.
get up there.
Yeah.
thanks for sharing that. Thanks both of you guys for sharing what you've been up to. Let's move on to just kind of some recent headlines. Wanted to dive into a couple things and just kind of discuss some things that are going on in the games industry right now. We got some game awards. Wanted to do our final game awards predictions, but let's save that for last because I feel like that could be a fun conversation to just kind of like see where it goes. I wanted to shout out if you're waiting for that Virtual Boy carcass, the plastic shell that you get through the Nintendo Switch online membership. If you're waiting for that, it's live now. At this point, who knows? Maybe it's sold out by now. But Wario64 posted a Blue Sky post about it yesterday. I bought it. I added it to the show tracker, and here we are. Message relayed. Go get your Virtual
Nice.
Boy if
The
you are
cardboard
interested.
one is also up for sale too, which is wild that they have that for sale.
That's
It's
a
like
good
$25.
shout-out.
Yeah.
So-
No, it's
So I placed the pre-order without thinking, and then I took a moment to think about things, and I realized that this is a rare instance where the Switch 1, I think, is actually going to be better, because if you have the Switch OLED model, that's going to be so much better for doing the VR thing, especially with those red and black Virtual Boy games. Because I have both. I'm gonna try like Switch 1 regular, Switch 1 OLED, and a Switch 2. I'm gonna see. But oh my goodness,
Oh, he's got one.
What's
He's
going
got-
on
he's-
over
yeah.
here?
Nick is holding up
Is that the
what looks
OG?
to be an actual Virtual Boy.
I've got my actual
Virtual
Virtual Boy over. It doesn't.
You
But it
got
doesn't.
one early? No, you got it.
Yeah, back in the '90s, prototype.
Time travel.
Doesn't
That's
work.
awesome.
Doesn't work. That's the problem.
Oh, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
Oh.
well, it barely did in the first place. So. Man, that thing was. I had one when I was younger. I got it from a video shop, like a video update rental store or whatever. Got it for $25 on clearance when they were trying to get rid of them, and it got let go in a garage sale somewhere along the line. But like, man. I tried to play Mario Tennis on that, and it was not easy. It was an idea that was ahead of its time. The tech wasn't where the creativity wanted to be. It's a little closer now. So
It's It's a very cool system in a lot of ways, and it makes no sense, right? Like it's you have to sit there crouched over the thing with the little controller down there, and the controller's weird too. All of it is you have to take what every game tells you to take a break every 15 minutes or something like that,
Yeah.
which is
Do you get
a
sick? I
good
don't
sign.
actually played one. So is it like
I
VR, like actual
I would
VR now,
get
where so you
headaches
kind
from
of
it.
headaches or
I
motion
would get
sick?
headaches. I think I remember getting a little motion sick from it. I mean, it was not. This is before anybody had done any sort of research into
Mm.
like VR best practices and comfort and all that stuff. So,
Mm.
it was very much proof of concept. I think it was purely driven by the early to mid '90s dream of virtual reality and the cross section of that combined with Nintendo being like the only company in the world in a position to make something like that happen, and they went for it. It was this weird experiment that like I respect them for doing, but man, it was just not the right time for that tech.
If you are looking for information about the Virtual Boy, Jeremy Parish from NES Works and that world has a great Virtual Boy. I think it's Virtual Boy Works. I think is what it is. But there's a
Oh yeah,
great book that goes through all the games and gives a lot of great background on how the system came to be. And yeah, this seems like a crazy. It seems like a crazy project to have worked on. I can't imagine working on the
Wow.
Virtual Boy. It was
man.
kind of nuts. As a quick note too, Justin, because of when we were chatting, you were like, "Have you gotten your Virtual Boy carcass yet?" And I
Uh,
hadn't, and so I
oh,
did, and then I posted about it, and then a few more people were like, "Oh, because of this, I got it too." So you are
Ah,
directly
nice.
responsible.
yeah. You're the
Uh,
enabler now.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Well,
yeah. You're the
thanks,
enabler now.
thanks Wario
So
for
yeah,
yeah.
so Nintendo needs
just
to send
passing it
everybody a
along.
little bit of money to do this. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I also got one
where's
too,
my
and Justin
referral link?
sent it over. So
there we
That's
go.
like that's
At least
like two that's like 2/3 of a cent every time one of you guys buys one. So I'll expect my
that's
check for 20
yeah,
cents in the mail.
that's vacation
Uh,
money.
let's see. On the note of plastic things that will probably end up in a closet, Analog has revealed some new transparent colors of the Analog 3D, which I was being a little rude because that really cool tech. But man, I'm not thrilled. Like, and I'm not the only one here. If you look at the comments of any of their social media posts announcing this, you'll see a lot of disappointment, a lot of frustration. Obviously, people are hype about because the colors look great, but they just shipped the pre-orders for the white and black models like what 2 weeks ago, and
Mhm.
then announced these things that clearly must have been in production for months, and they were just sitting on it waiting to do this. So it feels really kind of like a rug pull for the early adopters, the people who wanted to get in early and really be a part of that first wave of analog 3D shipments. And they did the same thing with the Analog Pocket, if I remember right. It was a similar situation where that came out, and then they had some cool colors like very shortly afterward, and like, come on, guys. So, yeah, I will use that opportunity to say that I've got a Superstation. I think it's called the Superstation One on pre-order, the one that Taki Udon is making. It's actually, I should have brought it up during the Mister conversation earlier because it uses Mister cores. It looks like a PlayStation One, but you can use Mister cores and it's FPGA and all that fun stuff. But anyway, that's derailing. The Analog 3D. If you want to try and get, I think they're probably all sold out by now, but they did reveal some, honestly, like, to be fair, very slick looking hardware, very reminiscent of the old transparent N64s of yore. But yeah, I don't know. It leaves a sour taste in my mouth the way that they did the rollout for that. So I'm gonna pass on that. But it is there if you've got a hankering to play some N64 at awesome, beautifully upscaled 4K with HDMI output and all that fun stuff. That may or may not still be in stock for you. So go check it out. But yeah, Nick, I see you nodding along. I think that you and I are probably aligned here based on just kind of the body language here.
Yeah.
But Andy, I'm having a hard time getting a read on Andy. Andy, what's your take on this situation?
I'm not a big retro gamer, as you can probably tell that I'm kind of quiet, but I do. I mean, so the analog 3, just for the lay people who don't know what the Analog 3D is it basically like a N64 machine that lets you play like emulated N64 games, or is it like
Yeah,
an
it's
actual
kind of like
cartridges,
we were
right?
talking earlier about FPGA on the Mister thing that Nick has. This is an FPGA solution specifically for N64, and you can put your N64 cartridges in it. It's shaped like an N64. It has 4 N64 controller ports on the front of it, but can also pair with Bluetooth controllers, including these purpose-built 8-bit DOE controller, 8-bit DOE made matching controllers to go with this console, including controllers in the new transparent colorways. So they were in on it too, but they were in cahoots.
How much is one of these?
What is it? A couple $100?
They're not cheap. I want to say it's like $400
$199, $299.
Wow, getting up there.
That's
maybe $300. Okay, yeah.
It's around there. It's not nothing.
That is, that's not an impulse purchase for the average person. It's like if you're into this, like, it could be a thing, but
it's for the people who want to really go back and dive back into their N64 library in a super accurate, beautiful, accessible way.
I just looked it up. It's $270 for the black and white ones, and it's $299 for the colored ones, the different colors they have there. So you're paying the upcharge. So I guess if it makes you feel better, like you would have had to pay more for the other ones anyway. So
well, anyway, that's the thing. They look cool, but I'm not going to buy one. I'm excited for my Superstation to arrive, and I'm also excited for my Ein Thor that I'm doing a bunch of awesome emulation on anyway. It's not FPGA, it's not hardware accurate, but I can't really tell the difference, honestly.
Does it even need to be on that form factor, like on a screen that size? Does it really need? I mean, maybe to some people, I guess.
And it's you're trading one thing for another, because you're losing maybe the FPGA emulation, but you're gaining things like black frame insertion or CRT beam simulator, for people who know what that is. Basically, uses the 120 hertz display to double the refresh rate of 60 hertz games like NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, etc. CRT games run at 60 hertz. Double it, insert a black frame in between every frame on a 120 hertz screen, improves motion clarity. That's the super broad strokes of it. But if you want to fall down a deep rabbit hole, look up black frame insertion or look up CRT beam simulator. Very interesting things that people are kind of on the bleeding edge of figuring out, for like how to use these high refresh rate screens to emulate old tech of all things. But retro gamers will find a way. That's it. Am I missing anything, Andy? I think that covers kind of what I had on the notes here. But anything else you wanted to touch on?
What you just mentioned sounds like it's like Severance, like secret like labs and the show Severance, like black frame insertion and CRT frame blah blah blah.
I mean, it does involve the screen flipping really fast, so maybe.
That's fair enough. I think that's But yeah, speaking of inserts, I want to hear more from Nick about instruction derby of inserts that you put inside of game boxes. Sorry, that was that for a segue.
I thought that's where that was going. That was good. That was good.
Yes, thank you. But yeah, I'd love to hear more about instruction derby. I mean, Justin mentioned to me, kind of the premise, and I watched a stream or two, and it seems like a very unique idea, and it's very cool.
Oh, thank you. Well, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm like a little shy about it. Instruction derby is just something that I picked up doing a little while ago, maybe, about a year and a half ago at this point, maybe something like that. As a result of, so I went to school for broadcasting. I went to college for broadcasting. I went to SF State for broadcasting.
Nice.
And when I graduated, it was at the 2008 financial collapse. And so all of the opportunities to go from there to TV or radio fell off. So I wound up going into the much more stable world of video games. Actually, I was at PlayStation. My first job out of college, just as an aside, was at the old SCEA 989 East Hillsdale,
Foster City.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Foster City. That.
Yeah. I started. Wow. It was my first job out of college, and it was just I was doing firmware QA. Wow. So I was just
When was that?
2008.
If you're comfortable sharing.
2008, 2009, somewhere around there. 2008, I think, right when the economy tanked. And so I was doing firmware QA on PlayStation 3. titles, which was basically the way that it worked. Is that I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. Was you had like a bank of PlayStation 3s, like dev kits, I think, above
Yeah.
us, and the job was just to go take every disc in the space, put it in, play it for about 10 minutes, take it out, make sure that the firmware didn't screw something up, basically.
Yeah.
Every so often you get to play a full game. I got to play a full game of 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, maybe the best.
Nice, great
two,
game.
2
I played
days
this.
of work. Yeah, I love that game.
Did you do
It's so
co-op
good.
or is it okay? Yeah.
You know, this one I just did
It's
single. Yeah, I just went through. But
really
So
fun.
are you the one making the
Diamond
list with the
Skull.
asterisk saying like most games functional or what? Yeah.
yeah,
Like there
it
are
was,
two obscure games that don't work on
I
this
think,
firmware.
yeah,
month.
I think so. They're just like, yeah, this works, and like most things are going to be fine. The controller's not going to mess it up on most games. So we did that, and I also got to do firmware QA on the as of yet unannounced PSP Go.
Oh, nice.
And I remember being like, "This is it. I'm in the industry. This is so sick. I know about a piece of
Yes,
hardware that no
PSP
one else knows
Go.
about." Yeah,
Wait,
that was
quick aside on the PSP. I
Yeah.
just watched Final Destination 3. You know, this I'm watching.
Nice.
I'm making my way through these movies, and this is like in 2000. The movie came out in 2006, and in the movie, one of the bros mentions like, "Yeah, why don't you give me something cool like a PSP?" I was like, "Yes,
yes, that is cool.
It is cool. Yes, that is a cool device."
Very
That's
specific
pretty
time
sad.
frame that movie could have
No,
released.
Yeah, I've not heard the PSP mentioned in a while. And just it was wild to see that in a Hollywood.
It's exciting.
Movie.
Listen,
yeah.
anything you can play Luminous on, you're good. You're good
Yes,
to go.
and it's back.
Man.
It's back. Oh my
Yeah.
god,
Yeah,
Luminous
Luminous
Arise.
Arise.
That was
You guys
another
been-
one
you
earlier
guys
this
been
year.
playing Luminous? Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I have been playing that. I should have mentioned that earlier. I'm doing the weekend things every
Oh,
weekend.
awesome! It's great. It's so that was going to be close to my game of the year, and then
Ooh.
Sectori dropped. I
That's
mean,
Sectori.
like
Oh,
it's.
okay.
I'm not going to have a game of the year this year. It's going to be there's just too many. But
Yeah.
but yes.
We'll
so anyway,
get there. Yeah.
No.
Go on. Sorry. Go back to
No,
go back to
it's-
your firmware.
Speaking of getting there, the point that I was going to
Yes.
make with all this long
Instruction
backstory,
Derby. Yeah.
it was Instruction Derby. So yeah, so I got into video games, and it was sort of like, well, cool, like this is sort of working. So I bounced around and all that kind of stuff, but I always kind of wanted to go back into doing something with like reading on screen or to a
Okay.
microphone or
Well,
something.
narrative, Yeah.
And so, but I couldn't figure out like how to make that actually pay the bills. And so I gave up on that. But I was like, I need to get back into just practicing it. What if I just practice it? So I thought maybe I could stream, and I tried streaming games, and I just was like, I'm not bringing anything special to the table. I'm not doing anything. So I thought, what if I just sit here and read stuff that's around me on stream? Nobody's going to watch anyway, so I might as well just do that. And I started because I've got like video game boxes around me, and I started reading the back of boxes and then the manuals, and I just realized as I was doing it, I was like, man, I used to read video game manuals all the time, and they are awesome.
There's a lot of
And
nostalgia for those.
there's a lot of
the
nostalgia.
NES cartridge ones back in the day. Yeah.
Bear with me for one very quick second. I'm sorry. I have a special guest. This is Noelle.
Ooh.
Yes, sweetheart. Oh, hi. Trader Joe's freeze-dried raspberries. I don't know. If you've
Oh,
heard of them.
delicious.
They're
Those things are
delicious.
so good.
Noelle, have you been playing any good video games lately? You forget. Yeah, no, that's okay. It's hard.
Yeah.
There's so many.
We all forget too. No,
We all forget. So I apologize. So
all good.
yes, sorry. Yes, sweetie. Okay, yeah, that's true. We don't have great insulation. She's like, I can hear you upstairs. That's good.
Keep
Good
it
to
down
know.
there.
Good to know for whenever I'm talking about like an NDA thing at work. So anyway,
Show.
this is a very
We'll
long,
just
probably
whisper
kind
for
of
the rest of the show.
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, we'll do our NPR voices. So Instruction Derby just sort of came from that. I realize it's not a very exciting story, but it just sort of came from a desire to read so I could get back into practice for doing that. And I just fell in love with the stuff and had so much fun. Some of them are so silly, and you can really get a sense of people's personalities, the people behind the games. I think that was the thing. When you're young and you get a game and you rip open the box and you look at the manual and you do all that sort of stuff, before you know how games work, it's just here's a product that was delivered to me from the back room at Toys R Us, right? Like it's just this is a thing that exists, and here it is, and a machine made it, and Nintendo is the thing that made it, right? That kind of thing. The manuals, in so many ways, especially for older games where the technological limitations were such that you had to really be kind of restrictive about what was in there. The manuals were a really special way for the personality of the people involved to come through via telling stories, imbuing the characters or things with lore. Exactly. Like if you go and look at the, if I went back and I looked at the original Zelda, Legend of Zelda manual.
Oh yeah.
And
So
you
good.
know, and it's incredible. Like the art is gorgeous. There's real care taken to tell the story that you're sort of only hinted at in the game, which is fine. It's not a criticism of the game. It's just what it is.
There's a lot. Yeah.
But the manual does so much heavy lifting, and so that was when I started to. And then there's other manuals where it's like the Dirty Harry manual for the Nintendo is like so wildly off brand. It's crazy, right? It's just somebody seems like having a good time writing it, and it was just that personal human touch, the ability to kind of do that. And then I just fell in love with it and started thinking I should do this at least once a week because
That's awesome.
why
Well,
the heck
and
not?
it's turned into a cool little thing. I love seeing the manuals that you end up pulling into, and you've developed a kind of kind of cult following, sort of. Like you've got
a crew of very kind regulars.
Yeah, you got a motley crew of misfits.
Yes,
but you've gotten to a point where even like you had someone who worked on one of the manuals come on and guest on the show recently.
Cool.
So, like, what was that like? Like, did that feel like kind of full circle having an actual guest come on and talk about the thing that they worked on?
It was terrifying. Yeah, it was terrifying. We talked a little bit before the show about like the technical aspects of like how do you bring someone onto your stream, and it's like this.
Which game was it, by the way?
It was for Halo.
It was for Halo.
That's a good one. Okay.
It was yes. It's a little indie game.
Indie game. Yeah, Bungie,
yeah, exactly. It's about a green character. So that was terrifying. I had gotten introduced to Lorraine McLeese. So Lorraine McLeese, who by the way is amazing, like top tier human being, just incredible. She was at Bungie and worked on Halo from like the jump, and this is going to boil things down to such an incredibly reductive degree, but she is responsible essentially for like the visual iconography of like what we see for Halo, like the way the cover looks, the way the manual is like laid out, a lot of the story stuff, a lot of the lore stuff in there. She had a hand in.
Nice.
She just was sort of what did she call herself? A pixel, sort of a jack of all trades for that stuff, and incredibly important to the development of that game and how we view it. So I got introduced to her through a good guy named Andrew Elmore, also a Blue Sky regular, and she kicked it off, and she was just amazing. I actually didn't, so it was terrifying in advance because I'm sitting here and I'm talking to an industry legend, and it's my first interview, and she just goes and is like, it just does it all. I was like, this is the best interview of ever. Awesome. I was like, I just have to sit here and say, tell me about this. And then she'll tell me everything about it. Lorraine is awesome. Video is up on VOD. I normally don't say go watch my show because that feels extremely weird, but that one is good because it's all about her and she's so cool.
Well, and if there's any time to plug your show, it's when you're a guest on someone else's show.
I guess that's true.
Check that out. No worries. Yeah.
When you're a guest and you're being asked directly about it, maybe.
Yeah.
Please, Nick, plug your show. Like,
I won't.
don't know.
No.
It doesn't feel like the right time.
Where do you get your instruction, man? Is it from like your personal collection, or do you like source them, or do you like find new ones all the time? Like,
so I'm not like the most. I don't always think things through, and so when I first started doing this, I tried to. I got excited about it, and I was like, "This is great!" And I started like buying manuals, right? Because they're on the grand scheme of video game physical goods, especially from a retro standpoint, they're still reasonably affordable by and large.
Yeah. How much are you talking about? Is it like, under $10? Is it more?
Most of the time, yeah. Most of the time, even for games that are somewhat rare, if you're looking at like a Conker's Bad Fur Day where like a complete in box is going to be like $300, you're looking at something way north of that. But you can get, Mystical Ninja on Super Nintendo.
Nice.
Here. The box, like getting a full version of that is expensive, but I got this for like $6, I think. So it's, it was sort of, at first I thought it was a market inefficiency, and I'm like, I'm a genius. This is the best. So I bought a bunch of them. It was great. And they are fun to look at. And then I realized you could just go to you could just go to the Internet Archive.
Internet Archive.
And,
Internet Archive. Yeah.
And they're all there.
They're all there. Wow.
Yeah. And my first episodes, I was sitting here reading, and then I realized I could just put them on the screen because they exist on the internet, and people could see what's there. Huge impact. So now I just
but it's more fun to buy them.
But it's
more
fun. Do you ever feel like the draw to like collect more of these, or like to collect these and get like kind of for the library?
I go back and forth. I did a lot of it at first, and then what I wound up doing was I wound up just picking up whatever, and so it means that
Oh,
I
so it's
have like I have probably like 40 copies of the manual for High School Musical on the Wii, right? And
okay.
I'm not saying anything about the game. I can't speak to it. There's not a lot of meat in that manual, right? So
Fair enough.
I think I got to the point now where it's like if there's one that seems really special to me,
That makes sense.
then I'll do that.
For
So
the 100th
that's yeah.
episode, you got to get a complete inbox, Earthbound, and just crack it open and
Wow,
scratch
yeah.
those stickers, smell them
That's
live
right.
on the screen.
That's right. I accidentally monetized that channel a little while ago by accident. You can do that on Twitch, and then you can't go back.
Oh, yeah.
You can never say no. I don't want to do it anymore. And I have earned at least $4 or $5 since I started.
Wow,
So,
it's paying
you know,
for
yeah,
one or two manuals,
already.
maybe.
yeah, big money, big bucks.
Yeah, that makes
Former
sense. Like
Riot employee.
kind of purchase the ones that made me. Yeah, like if the more like kind of licensed games where it's not as as sentimental or like. I feel like something. Yeah, Zelda is a good one. I remember that when I had that as a kid, right? And it's like you open, it's like, oh, this cool like artwork and like storytelling and stuff like maybe like Mega Man. Or I'm just thinking of all the old games that are like kind of have that. And I think over the years, it's a lost art. Or it's a art that's been lost. Nowadays, there's nothing in there. I bought a copy of Clair Obscur from this year, a physical version. I like my physical copies, and yeah, there's an insert in there for I think it was like a pre-order bonus, but generally there's nothing inside these boxes now. When you buy like a physical game, there's nothing.
They're usually totally empty. Some indie, some smaller publishers. I'll say this, maybe not. I don't know indie. If that's a term that can mean a whole lot of things, I guess. So
No, it is, yeah.
smaller publishers like I think ININ, ININ. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that the right way. Their games generally come with a manual of some sort, and it's usually just a kind of a pared down thing, but they're pretty neat, nice artwork in there. The Ninja Turtles, here's one right here, Shredder's Revenge.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Comes with this is an art booklet, but that's good enough, right? It comes with an art booklet.
Yeah,
That's
that's
got,
something.
characters and all that kind of stuff. So there is some sense of
Awesome.
Okay.
Care.
He's showing, yeah.
Care, things coming back.
Was that a limited run game, the Ninja Turtles, or is it like
they also do that? They also
okay, because I know that if you get the limited run, that's part. The whole point of it is to have a collectible
is
thing.
to have some of that. No, they do. Actually, an example of a recent game. So these things are sort of coming back in some capacity. I think Tunic was a big turning point. I don't know if y'all played Tunic, but
it's a great game.
The way that manual in game is
it's in the game. Yeah,
it's like a massive
big
part of the gameplay too. Yeah,
it's actually a big part of the game. Yeah,
and I think that was part of my initial kind of like manuals. I should like really lean in it because that game is amazing for it. But the Plucky Squire, I believe you guys spoke about the Plucky Squire recently.
My son and I are playing through it right now.
There you go. They've got you can go. I forget the URL, but there's a manual. They made a manual for it with gorgeous art, character stuff in it. It's very neat. So the dying art is not completely dead, and I'm hoping that it can come back in some capacity. But
that'd be great.
There'll always be an appetite. It's like vinyl records, like there'll always be some sickos out there who want physical media.
And with physical games, and that give them another incentive to buy the physical copy. Is that okay? There's that cool thing inside. I mean, speaking of which, I bought a copy of Silent Hill F over for Black Friday. I wanted to play that. There's a Amazon exclusive edition where it's and there's some digital goodies in the insert, but there's also an insert. One of the parts of the insert was like a big poster, like a full art. That's great. Game. It's like that's kind of getting it, and it's not like an instruction manual or like anything big, but that's something, right? It's a physical like piece of art that comes with the game, and it adds a little more meaning to it.
It's great. Like Astrobot, I think, comes with a comic book or something like that in there. There's
nice.
Super Monkey Ball. One of the most recent Super Monkey Balls comes with an art book in it. There's something there, and it does make it feel like, because when you open it up, it's just a plastic thing and a little card or maybe a disc that's kind of wobbling around. That's not super fun, but yeah, just reading the manuals is fun, and getting to share them is something I really do look forward to every week, even if it is just me and like 7 very patient people. It's a lot of fun. One more thing, if it's okay, is I want to shout out Steve Pickford from the Pickford brothers, who were the developers of Plock on the Super Nintendo, among other things. They've made a lot of other things. Before I interviewed Lorraine McLeese, I got to talk a bunch with Steve Pickford, and he gave me all sorts of background on the process for making the manual for Plock, the process of sort of like developing alongside a publisher in those days. And that was really, really, really exciting and interesting. The TLDR of it is that at that time, in that era, the publisher would usually kind of cobble together the manual, and maybe with some input from the developer, but not always.
Mm.
And they really wanted to make sure that their manual for Plock, which by the way is amazing, that is one of those ones that I'm like, I need a copy of Plock. I don't even need the rest of the box. I've got the game. I just need the manual in the game. The
Nice.
manual is amazing. It's
Yeah.
outstanding. And what they did was they worked on it in secret while they were developing the game, and they wrote the entire thing. They designed the entire thing. They
Huh.
put the art where they wanted it to be, and they basically published it and sent it to the I think it was Trade West, maybe. I forget who it was,
Mm.
the publisher at the time. And basically like, we already made this for you. Don't bother making one. And that was
Wow.
how they did it. Yeah. And I was
Wow.
like, man,
Nice.
that's so cool. So some of these manuals are come out there with real genuine love behind them.
Oh, that's really nice.
That's
And that's
cool.
Plock PLOK, I think, right? That's the
PLOK.
okay.
Yes.
Yes, the SNES
Yes.
game
Good
from
old
back in the
Plog.
day. Wow.
Yes.
Do you ever
Sweet.
get to read age? Are there like age ratings? Sorry, are there ratings on these manuals? Like as the maybe as at a certain era, right when the ESRB was a thing. Like is that
The manual, so the
claimed?
rating will be assigned to the entirety of the product, right? Whatever it is that
Mm-hmm.
you're getting. So
Mm-hmm.
so in theory, and this is actually something that I haven't gotten to test out, so I'd love to know. In theory, what's in the manual should meet what the rest of the game's
True.
rating
Yeah.
is, right? So it
Interesting.
should
Yeah,
be,
it's the entire
if you have a
package. Yeah.
T-rated game, yeah, you shouldn't be able to say the F word
Drop
in
an F-bomb in the
in
manual. Yeah.
yeah, in that.
It's not PG-13. You get one F-bomb.
Yeah, you don't get one. Yeah, exactly. You don't
There's
get
no
one. Yeah.
one.
It's
There's
like,
no freebie there.
you can use it once in the manual in a non-sexual context. Very important. Very important. But no. But so that's an interesting question though, and I've yet to find a manual that goes way outside the realm of the game's vibe, which I think is interesting because it's easy to do that, especially if it's a publisher developer discrepancy, right? It would be
Mm-hmm,
very
mm-hmm.
easy for someone who's maybe less directly connected to the game to write some stuff in that's a bit out of pocket. The closest I
Yeah.
can think
Yeah.
of is the manual for Zombie U from
Oh.
Ubisoft
Oh,
on
right.
the
Yeah.
Wii U.
Oh, yeah. I remember this game. Yeah. Okay.
Great game,
Yeah.
by really good
Yeah.
game,
Critical
by the way.
Darling.
Really,
Yeah.
it's too scary, but it's very cool. That manual is like full of swearing, but it's an M-rated game, so I'm
It's
like,
fair.
it's
Okay.
okay.
So
Sure.
it's
But
fair game. Okay.
it still stood out
Really
to me. I
leaning
think,
into the trying to embrace the more mature direction that they were going
yeah,
for.
yeah. They're like, this is for grown-ups only, but it's
Yeah.
it's funny. It's all like it's all done in a very specific character voice. It's a trip. But no, otherwise the ratings tend to, I think, line up. The only other one that I can really think of that stands out is in the original Mario manual, Super
Mm.
Mario manual.
Super Mario. Okay.
They explicitly note that Mario is killing the Goombas,
Oh,
which
interesting. I don't
we've all
remember-
known
yeah.
he's had it in him for a long time.
Yeah,
but he's a psychopath.
He's
But
just a mass murderer of.
he's
Goombas,
just a killer. Yeah, he's
just a stone cold killer.
he's just a stone cold killer. But that's about as far as I can think. Yeah.
Okay, okay. No, that sounds like interesting. Yeah. I'm bringing it back to our conversation we started. I know more. The age rating, the whole age rating thing is more than just the submitting. The for the rating, the actual rating itself. Is there anything else that you want to have people know about the whole your whole like kind of profession that people may not know, or you want to shine some more light on? Like,
And so I've been going back and forth thinking about this. I'm like thinking about a little bit back and forth between what I would want to highlight because there's a lot. It's a space that's very niche, I think. I think what I would probably land on ultimately is that the people involved in the age ratings agencies themselves, the ESRBs, the PEGIs, right? Like the folks who are doing the USK, right? The ACB down in Australia, the Australian Classification Board,
oh,
all of those places. There's so many.
yeah, there's so many. Yeah.
By and
Mm.
large, they are all really interested in collaborating.
Oh, that's good to hear.
They
Okay.
do have to toe a line. There are rules, there are requirements, and those will be different depending on whether it's like an industry-led thing, like the ESRB,
Mhm,
or
mhm.
whether it's a legal like government
Government or-
entity thing, right? Like in Korea, the GRAC is like a government thing. So there's some discrepancy there, but by and large, these are not folks. I think there's like a sense, at least in the games industry, from people who engage like the exterior of age ratings that think that like, oh man, this is the cops, right? Like they're coming and they're gonna really screw us over or whatever. And sure, if you're doing crazy stuff, maybe, but the people involved are really willing to work with you on a thing. This is my
That's good.
experience. To be very clear, we get full submissions, so we do full ratings for our games mostly, right? So like we go through the whole process, so we have these relationships. I do think it's a different story if you leverage a tool like IARC, which is a survey that you can take that can then apply a rating without having to do a full big heavy lift rating. So without getting too, I mean, I can talk more about that, but without getting too deep into the weeds, if you have the relationship with the people, they are willing to work with you. The other thing that I would say is that the rules appear hard and fast, and oftentimes they're pretty vibes based. It's a lot of kind of
that makes sense.
gut.
Yeah.
It's a lot of gut checks, right? It's sort of like, is this game? I was having a conversation the other day with a friend about Disc Room. And I don't know if you played Disc Room, but Disc Room,
old game?
yeah, like maybe like 7 or 8 years ago, maybe less than that. It's a bunch of it's phenomenal. It's so good, but it's a little bit bloody, but it's pixely and it's a little bit pulled out. And so then the question is like, where does this land? Is this an E10 plus?
Well, it's not red. Is it blood?
It's not red.
Is it
exactly,
just bodily fluids? Is it alien goop? Is it
yes. And so so
it's
that's
motor
the thing. So
oil.
That's a game where you could probably make an argument in good faith that it's anywhere from an E10 to a very mild M, and you could make the case one way or the other.
Interesting. Well, that's really good to hear. I mean, because I think that a lot of the agencies and folks are kind of willing to work with the game developer publisher.
I'll vouch for the ESRB folks too, because you said earlier, Nick, that's only your experience, but that mirrors.
ESRB's great.
I didn't work with them nearly as much as I'm sure you do, but I had some interactions with ESRB folks during my time at PlayStation, and they were always super pleasant. Always down to like find the right solution. Even they like you said there, it's not so much like letter of the law, like our way or the highway. It's very much like we get what you're trying to do. Like, okay, like sure, yeah, it makes sense.
That's hopefully that's the case. Because I remember seeing there was a controversy last year with Balatro, right? Did you guys see this where the gambling thing, where like was it Peggy or some? I don't know if it was
Peggy, and it was it Peggy and USK maybe or
USK? Okay,
something like that. Peggy for sure, yeah.
Yeah, where like they what did they give
it? Was rated. It was rated for
gambling.
Adults because of gambling, but there's no actual gambling in. It's just because it's playing cards.
Yeah.
It looks like poker.
Playing cards. Yeah.
But then there are games with actual gambling that are
there's way
teens.
worse games that are rated younger.
That's a different podcast.
That's a different podcast. And I will say, like, I don't know the specifics of that particular one, right? Because I was just on the outside looking in as everybody else. But I will say that, like, I'm sure there are certainly times where the ratings boards have to probably think about, so there's just so many types of games now, right? Like indie games, deliver so many unique types of experiences, and will mash up poker iconography with not poker, right? Like in ways that maybe in the old days.
Yeah, I guess it also doesn't do it any favors that it's super addictive gameplay and has lots of bright, flashy lights.
Yeah,
so it's got big casino vibes,
big casino vibes.
But know that, it's not literally gambling,
I think that was one of those instances where the letter of the law was out of date, and there was a decision made at some point in some level, and I don't know who that was. Honestly, I don't, because I don't even know if they got a full submission or if they had it was me. I did it. I don't know if they had a full submission or if they had an IARC rating, again, which can sort of like be fast and easy, but leave you open to changes without being warned ahead of time. So I'm not sure exactly where that was, but that's just one of those ones where I think that game probably could have skated by as a 3. I think it was a Peggy 3 because there wasn't anything questionable in it, but then it blew up. And that brought a whole bunch of people on it. And then, maybe a parent buys it and they're like, my kid's playing poker. Oh my God. And there's chips and they're addicted. Like they're just sitting here drooling, and you can see how it sort of escalates.
It looks like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think that the agencies worked together to find a more suitable solution moving forward.
That's good. Right. I didn't actually follow through, but I'm like, well, how did they resolve it? But
I think that they did. They sort of added some nuance to that, which
I think they got to a good place with it.
That's
finally.
good.
Yeah. So That
That's
was a
good.
big scary one though. That was like a big. That's
Yeah,
for
it's a big
everybody else. That's
flashpoint.
yeah, it's a big flashpoint. For everybody else, they're just sort of like, oh, interesting. What happened here? And we're like having an all hands in our team, being like, what are we
Oh, you
going to
guys
do
had
about this? Is there any problem? Are we should be worried about anything? Yeah,
wow. Well, okay. Well, I'm glad though. It sounds like it all kind of
that was fun.
resolved itself eventually.
It
So
did.
Man.
nice.
Well,
Well, yeah.
go ahead, Andy.
No, I was just gonna, I think, do what you're gonna do, and I think with
I
get
think
to
we're
our
just
last topic
fighting
of the
over it.
evening.
We're,
with the Game Awards happening.
Gonna start wrapping things up here. I want to do a little bit of Game Awards talk, but real quick before we I think maybe let's take a real quick moment and pick out like our 2 or 3 favorite games of the year, and that can be how we close things out. But before we do that, Nick, I want to give you a quick moment to because you have just such a passion for indie games and for smaller teams. I wanted to give you a moment to shout out if you think there are any overlooked or underappreciated games that deserve some more attention right now. I wanted to give you a chance to shout them out. Besides Sectori, because we already talked about that.
Oh, that could be one too.
Yeah, so here's 10 minutes on Sectori. I mean, honestly, I really could. That's the problem with Sectori, but we won't do that. I won't do that, I promise. I thought about a little bit about this. There's a few games from this year that I haven't seen a whole lot of chatter about that I have loved and adored. One of them is a game called And Roger. It's by Teary Hand Studio.
Oh, I've played this.
You have? Okay.
Yeah, I have,
okay.
yes.
It's for those who haven't, it's like a very brief story. It's kind of a story about a woman. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it without like, I don't know where you land in spoiler. It's a story about a woman going through some things, I guess is what I would say. An older woman, I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think it was there's like some flashbacks and things aren't what they seem initially. Like I think it's an interesting narrative story.
There's an interesting narrative, and I don't want to give any of it away because I thought I kind of knew what was going on, but then it really hits. For me, I played it on an airplane, and I was just and so I was just like, whew, it's heavy, but it's sweet and it's gentle in its own way, and it's about an hour and a half. So there's really no good reason not to. Yeah, I really like that, and that stood out a lot to me. I would also note there's a game called Karimara from developer Bastinus Rex, which is a brief kind of adventure mystery game where you walk around a weird house, a weird cabin in a very strange place with some weird characters. And as you collect bits of understandings about what's going on around you, those are represented as cards. So it looks like a deck builder, but what you're doing is showing up with, okay, and now I've researched this area. I'm going to show this card to this person, and that's going to unlock the next, part of the story and let me progress. It's got a great look. It's published by Critical Reflex, who did Mouthwashing and Arctic Eggs. It's got some of that kind of look to it. Very unpleasant vibes, but a very unique take on that kind of game. So I thought that was cool. And finally, I'll also call out Singu Breaka, which is developed by Singu, Singou, Breaka, Breaka. It's like signal breaker, because what you do, it's a puzzle game where the puzzle pieces are like walking symbols or signals, like at a stoplight. So you try to match up the person walking and then the person like standing still, right? The red light, the green light kind of thing. Against each other, and you pull them into each other, sort of like dominoes. And you clear the screen that way. It's just a very interesting, very crunchy, nice feedback sort of game. I haven't seen a lot of people talk too much about it, but I had a great time with it. So
nice.
Maybe those are some of the ones that
those
I
are.
Oh,
yeah. Go on. All right, you had one more?
I was gonna say one more. Sorry.
Yeah.
Babushka's Glitch Dungeon.
Wait, Babushka means like grandma, right? Or is it
yes,
or like your nanny? Yeah.
It's like a puzzle platformer where you play this babushka who goes around and is cleaning up glitches in this place, and you get unique abilities. The puzzles are really clever, and I'm really digging it. So there you go.
Cool. Wow. 4 great games to check out in addition to Sectori.
That's right.
Yeah, because we don't have enough games to play.
I know. Finally, some video games.
Finally, some video games. And I'd love to end on, so the Game Awards happening on Friday or Thursday. And we went through the exercise last time of like, I think Justin and I kind of predicted the all 30 categories, whatever. But in the interest of time, obviously, I feel it'd be fun to ask Nick what your prediction of best indie game would be.
Oh,
I don't know if
that
you've
even better
taken
than my
these or
idea.
if you've
Can
looked
you
at these,
remind me
but
of what they are?
I'll throw. Yes, I will read them off. They are Absalom,
Mm-hmm.
Ball X Pit, Blueprints, Clair Obscure, Expedition 33, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Oh, that's right. I remember. I
Or if
listened.
you've,
I heard your
stacked
guys'
category.
conversation about this.
Yeah, and we picked Hades 2. That's the one
Hades
we voted
2.
for as a as the podcast.
But I keep going back to Blueprints. Like
I mean, Blueprints was my I haven't actually those two are I mean, this is a stack category this year, obviously, but
yeah.
So I have a little bit of a hot take on it.
Let's end the hot take. Yeah.
In that I don't. These are all amazing video games. And I think that they are all games that I understand why someone absolutely loves them. I would say that with the exception of Ball X Pit, I didn't particularly enjoy, to the degree that I had hoped to, any of them. I really enjoyed Ball X Pit. So of these is probably my answer. I did not play Clair Obscure. I have not played Absalom, and I did not play Hades 2. The reason, though, I didn't play Hades 2 is I never clicked with Hades 1. It is gorgeous. I love the writing. The characters were fun. So this is not, again, a criticism of the game. It was just maybe time and place thing. So for me, it's Ball X Pit. I think it's gonna be. Here's my answers.
Yeah.
For me, it's Ball X Pit. I think it's going to be Silk Song, but I think it should be Blueprints.
Interesting. There's three
That's
different.
Kind of where I'm at too. Is like my heart says Hades 2 because I just couldn't put it down, but I also couldn't put down Blueprints. But I feel like Blueprints just like that would be such a feel good story to see that.
Yeah, I think. I feel like they need it more in terms of like I think Supergiant's awesome. We all love Supergiant, but they've gotten kind of a lot of recognition. It'd be cool to kind of get a newer studio kind of in the limelight, and especially with such an innovative game. I don't think I've played anything like it, like at all, like
incredible.
If ever.
There was there have been some great interviews with the developer coming out recently, especially one with Jason Schreier. He went back and did kind of a follow up, like a year later. How do you feel? Kind of interview, and just great stuff. Spoiler laden, so don't read it if you haven't played through most, if not all, of the game. But man, it made me really want to go back and keep like. There are still a few little loose ends I didn't quite tie up in Blueprints. What was going on with those chess pieces? It's man, I got
the
post game is interesting. Yeah, I never actually finished
so
either,
much post game.
There's a lot of post game, but that game is so deep.
For me, Blueprints. The thing with Blueprints, just in general, is again that's also one that I ultimately didn't stick with for too long. I did a few hours. I had some issues personally with the. I felt like I had too many runs in a row at one point where, through no fault of my own, in my opinion, I just couldn't progress. Right? It was sort of like, okay, like
you get stuck. You get stuck.
Things, and I was like, I only have X number of hours to play a game. So for me, it didn't stick with me in that way. But I keep thinking about it, and the reason I wanted to win this category, or think it should win this category, is just because like this is the thing that to me is the promise of independent games and smaller studio games, is the ability to take these kinds of risks and throw crazy stuff out there. And whether it works for everybody, it doesn't matter, right? Like I want to reward them for making this thing because it is just such a singular experience.
Well said.
Absolutely.
Well
Taking
said.
swings is like, that's the most hard. It's the hardest thing to do. And it should be really rewarded because we're in a time in the industry where not taking a risk is rewarded, right? Like you want the most steady, like revenue kind of agnostic thing. You want to, play by the, play it safe, but it's, this is the kind of game that needs a recognition for sure.
Heck yeah.
And I would say though, for you, Nick, like stick with it. Like you mentioned the feeling you get when you overcome a big challenge in Sectori. Same in Blueprints. When you get that big aha moment, when you get unstuck, that feeling is much better than, lots of things in life, I'll say.
And some of the little narrative threads that you start to pull are just enticing enough that it's like, ooh, what's going on there? What's the story with that? Like, wait, does that connect to this other thing I saw? Like it's
crazy.
It's the way it all connects. Yeah, it is very cool.
It's a game you can't talk about without spoiling. Because I was about to say like, oh, I got to this one thing, and I was like, no, I can't. Say
I mean,
there's
because you don't know if someone else got to that particular thing or not. Because it can be a very non-linear game too. Like you can experience it, and like you can
very cool.
find different things at different times. Anyway, I think that's a great note to end on. Thanks for the insight and the wisdom, Nick. I think that's a great take on that, and well said about blueprints. I think it would be great to see that one win. I think that's going to do it for this episode of Shared Bytes. Andy, how are we doing? Am I missing anything? Anything else you wanna leave our listeners with?
I think we got great. Thank you, Nick, again for joining us. It was great. Thanks for being our first guest, and you lived up to the hype.
Oh my God, that's so scary. I've forgotten that I was the first. This has been so fun. You guys are awesome. This is great hosting, great show. Thanks for having me. It's been super fun. This has been awesome.
Where can people find you?
Mostly on Blue Sky, probably more so than I wish to admit, but I'm there a lot.
Blue Sky, what's your handle? Yep.
At mcconnell.bsky.social, I think is what it is. McConnell, just like the senator, but not with the bad parts. Just the name.
Two N's, two L's.
McConnell. 2 C's, 2 N's, 2 L's.
Double.
Okay. It was a lot doing Scantron tests back in high school.
Woof, yeah.
A lot of
and
bubbles.
what about Instruction Derby? What's that's on Twitch, right? You switch it on Twitch and YouTube.
That's on Twitch.
Or?
That's Twitch, and then I usually throw the videos up on. If I remember, I throw them up on YouTube after the fact. The Twitch is I think it's Nic McConnell at the Twitch. It's like it's just my name. At twitch.com or whatever it is. And yeah, I do it every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific time. I say every Wednesday, but like not next week. I'm traveling for work, but most Wednesdays at 12 noon Pacific time for about an hour.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Awesome. Go check that out. I know I will be. Guys, really good talking to everybody. It's almost time for the holidays, but yeah. Good show as always, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you guys for the time today, and thank you to everyone who's hosting. Make sure that you subscribe to us on your podcast platform of choice. Tell a friend about the show, and we'll see you on the next episode of Shared Bytes.